Okay, so you are able to see. Then I am
Yes,
making it full screen. So you are
yes,
able to see the full screen.
yes, sir.
Okay, very nice.
Yeah.
So good evening to all of you, and thank you for giving me a schedule in this late evening to speak on the integration issues of renewable energy sources. I am also thankful to the participant that they have also joined at this late evening time to listen to this expert lecture. So, in this specific talk, I will be concentrating more on the photovoltaic domain rather than going into a larger domain of renewable energy, because each renewable energy integration has a problem of its own. So we will discuss only about the photovoltaic integration today. We all know that in the Indian condition or in the Indian subcontinent as well, you can see lot of photovoltaic integration is coming into picture. Now, this photovoltaic integration, when we talk about, is basically integration it to the grid, and this is the grid to where the photovoltaic system need to be connected. Now, when we talk about this connection, and based on the photovoltaic power magnitude, either it can be connected at 230 volt or can be connected at 400 volt or can be connected even at higher level of voltages. Now, that higher level of voltages, when you go, based on that, the inverter rating has to be decided. Now, based on this inverter AC voltage rating, the DC voltage has to be decided. And based on this DC voltage rating and the photovoltaic output voltage, we may be required to use a DC-DC converter to increase the voltage from the photovoltaic voltage level to that of the DC voltage of the inverter. When we need this section, we call it to be a double stage system or two-stage system, where this photovoltaic output voltage is first increased to a level where the inverter can work, and after that it can work for the grid integrated system also. Now, when we go for the grid integrated system, we need to go for the synchronization of the thing, and this synchronization procedure need to be followed in the inverter. And when we go for the synchronization procedure, we know that the output voltage must be in phase with the AC voltage. And we know that this inverter is fired with PWM technique. And when we do this firing with PWM technique, at this point, there will be square wave sort of thing. And it is not exactly square wave, but you will get three level operation here: plus VDC, minus VDC, and 0. Three level operation will happen here. And that three level operation, plus VDC, minus VDC, and 0, each coming based on the sinusoidal nature of the voltage. The sine wave is having a positive portion and a negative portion. The positive portion is derived with plus VDC scenario, plus VDC and 0. Negative portion is derived with minus VDC and 0, and you will get the sine wave representation. And to get this sine wave, you go for PWM, pulse width modulation. So the width of the pulse are changing. As a result, it will contain the fundamental frequency as a sine wave and rest other as the high frequency wave. And we go for the filter design, and a LCL filter in many cases is used to go for the grid integration strategy. And based on whether it is a single phase system or a three-phase system, we go for many type of controllers here, and those controllers may be PR, PI, fuzzy, neural, and many of the sort are being used to achieve certain desired target. Now, when we connect it to the grid, the PLL, the phase lock loop, or maybe another scheme without phase lock loop, that is no PLL, with PLL or without PLL, whatever approach you go, this AC output here is synchronized with the grid. So when you tell that it is synchronized, it becomes a grid following mode of operation. The voltage and frequency of the grid is followed by the inverter. However, there is a big debate now has been initiated after the Australian blackout that whether we should go for grid connected mode of operation or we should go for grid whether we should go for grid following mode of operation or grid forming mode of operation. And this grid following versus grid forming can be a good research topic to establish which one will be better than which under what circumstances. That is very, very important, and that circumstance need is also equally important. So, are you able to see my screen still?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, this grid following versus grid forming mode of operation need to be properly understood, and a beautiful research paradigm can be made with this situation. And now coming the the magnitude here, because we have been synchronized the system, then we cannot do anything with the voltage and frequency rather than following the voltage and frequency of the grid. As a result, what we can regulate is the current. So a grid connected inverter acts as a current source and it injects current to the grid in a big way. So it acts as a current source rather than a voltage source. So a VSC has been converted to a current source operation in a grid connected mode. And as we know that if this is the AC voltage, the DC voltage should be at least more than the peak of the AC voltage. So if the VDC here, this VAC is 400 volt for three phase and 230 for single phase, then multiplied by root 2 is 1.414. So maybe at least we must go for 1.5 times of this situation. Then only you will be able to get the peak value, and we can get the sine wave in the nature. So if you go for higher and higher voltage, your modulation index required to produce that amount of AC voltage will reduce, and hence you may be operating in the linear zone of operation. Now, once that is defined, whatever is the DC voltage, the DC voltage of the photovoltaic system need to be controlled, because if this voltage is defined from the AC side, then this voltage need to be defined by the DC-DC converter, so that the photovoltaic panel will be subjected to that voltage, and I can get the desired magnitude of power from the photovoltaic system. Another approach could be to directly go for a single stage photovoltaic system, where I can directly use a photovoltaic array to connect it to the inverter, and I will feed it to the grid. You may use a LC-L filter, or you may also use a simple LC filter. Now the PWM one is regulated in such a way that this DC voltage becomes variable, and this DC voltage is varied such that we get the desired MPPT power from the photovoltaic array. Now, in a grid connected system, and taking as an example of grid, the solar rooftop system, you can see that the photovoltaic installation connecting it to a boost converter and then an inverter is connected to the load. And this load is nothing but your home load. And that home load is again feeding by the grid. So if I go for an interconnection like this, then the power will either go towards the load or will go towards the grid. And based on the load magnitude, if it is more than the photovoltaic power, I will be supplying the excess power. If the load is more than the photovoltaic power, the grid will supply the excess power, and the reverse. If the photovoltaic power is more than the load, the grid will be fed with the power. So the grid will see a bidirectional nature of the power flow. Either it will be drawn from the grid or it will be fed to the grid. And this is called as net metering philosophy. The metering of the power that is coming from the grid will be positive as well as negative. And finally, the subtraction will give us the magnitude of total power that is being fed from the grid. So, the grid connected photovoltaic system, most of the controllers in real time are designed either for grid connected mode or for autonomous mode of operation. In grid connected mode, photovoltaic panels are usually expected to operate at MPPT with/without any storage backup. PV system act as a current source from the grid point of view. A PLL, phase lock loop, is used to detect the grid voltage, phase and frequency based on which converter is made to operate. So this is basically the requirement of synchronization, where we say that voltage, frequency, and phase angle should be same before giving the instruction for the circuit breaker to switch on the scenario. Similarly, here also, the PLL has to now sense the VA/VB/VC and instruct the inverter to produce the desired magnitude of the voltage so that it will be in phase, frequency and voltage equal with respect to the grid voltage. Now, whenever the grid fails, then the PLL sends a no signal and hence inverter failed to operate. Also a requirement based on the grid code. Because when we have the grid integrated system, if the solar photovoltaic will start pushing the current to the grid, under that circumstance, the grid failure, since is unknown, we may face a casualty of the persons, those who will be doing repairing or any of the sort in the grid. Therefore, in all the grid connected inverter, there is a philosophy called anti-islanding detection philosophy, which has been put into operations. So to avoid that electrical signal problem, the electrocution problem, we can say that the PV need to be what is happening? It is taking some of my portion. Can I take this window below or up?
Yes, sir.
This, are you able to see whole of my screen?
Yes,
or
sir.
portion is blocked by the black window, small window?
Yes, sir. It is comfortable to see, sir. It's okay, sir.
Last paragraph is totally visible.
Last line is not visible, sir.
Sir, something like reference signal required for PLL, that till that point we can read and we can see it.
No, is operated in conjunction with, after that some words are there which I am not able to see, but you are able to see?
Yes,
Yeah,
we
sir.
can see.
With DG, where the DG generates and give reference signal required for PLL, that much we can see.
Okay, fine. Fine then. So you are able to see in my screen it is something. Okay, fine, no problem. So the PLL is a necessity to go for its operation because of the synchronization issue, and the anti-islanding detection need to be there in the grid connected photovoltaic system. However, as I have already mentioned, so when the grid is not available, the photovoltaic is supposed to be out from the grid, but in the Indian condition, it is a detrimental scenario because in the summer time, many a occasion, the grid fails and the photovoltaic system cannot push power to the grid. Therefore, under the scenario, what in the Indian condition they have done is they use the diesel generator set, that is what we call as sorry. So what, any question to me? Okay.
No, sir. No, sir.
So to operate the photovoltaic, when the grid fails, under that circumstance, what usually we do, we take the help of a diesel generator set what is already available with us, and we call it to be a backup power. And that diesel generator set, when starts running, the photovoltaic system get connected to it and get it synchronized with the diesel generator set. And when it gets synchronized with the diesel generator set, then the photovoltaic starts producing power, and the diesel consumption in the long run reduces. And that is why the grid connected inverter get operated even if there is failure of the grid with the help of a diesel generator set. Now, the PLL dynamics plays a very vital role in the aspect of stability of the system, because PLL is nothing but a transfer function where there will be multiple filters, and since filter is in S domain, a first order or second order filter, if we look to the transfer function of PLL, it will be a second order and sometimes more than second order systems. And that may give rise to a oscillatory phenomenon in the output of the PLL. And since the output of the PLL is theta, and that now happens to be a oscillatory mode, then the inverter output also will be under jeopardized condition. So to avoid this, the design of PLL should be fast, robust, and it should be tested for all possible dynamic conditions. Now, the photovoltaic system, when grid connected, must also look for the maximum power extraction from the photovoltaic, and hence an MPPT algorithm need to be there on the inverter or on the DC-DC converter to produce the desired amount of power coming out of the photovoltaic system. So, MPPT algorithm need to be implemented in the inverter control, and the MPPT algorithm is nothing but giving the V value at the maximum point as far as possible. So this V, if it is known from the algorithm, then we can keep that V as the reference signal in this case, so that the photovoltaic will be subjected to that amount of voltage, and that will make the photovoltaic panel or array to operate under MPPT operation. Even we can put a DC-DC converter, and this DC-DC converter can be regulated to produce the desired voltage at this point, so that this photovoltaic output will be able to go for its operation in the MPPT domain. So, if we go for that MPPT, then under the isolated mode of operation, it may not be possible always to go for MPPT. And similarly, there are certain circumstances where the derated operation has to be carried out, because the maximum power produced by the photovoltaic situation may not be acceptable to the grid, because if there is a corridor which can take certain amount of power, and if the photovoltaic is producing more power, then I must curtail the power output from the photovoltaic system. So if I want to do that, then I must operate the photovoltaic not at the peak point, but at the derated operating point. Generally, we operate towards the right hand side, not on the left hand side. Reason being, if I operate that on the right hand side, I will be ending with a current which is less as the voltage is higher. So, if I operate here, the current will be more as compared to I operate here. So, if I design the thing to handle the MPP voltage and current, and if I instruct the photovoltaic panel to operate at this operating point, then probably it is okay, because the power is now same, but the current is reduced. So my cable cost will now reduce. So that is called the op MPPT, or derated mode of operation of the photovoltaic system in the grid connected mode. So this derated operation, once I do, and if I'm operating at this point and the peak value is at this point, so now I can vary the output of the PV system about this derated operating point to get the desired amount of variation of the power command, variation of the power command, so that I can vary it at a very fast rate also, so that I will be coming to a situation where I can get ancillary service from the photovoltaic system. So even in the grid connected mode, the derating option is provided to get some ancillary services like voltage frequency response and sometimes the virtual inertia from the photovoltaic system. Now, the control of the photovoltaic system, as I have already mentioned to you, can be done in a current control mode. So, the current injection in phase with the voltage and 90° to the voltage will be done by the inverter. And since the inverter can do, apart from the real power handling, certain amount of reactive power and other things, therefore we can say it to be a multifunctional inverter, or the smart inverter. So this smart inverter, apart from doing certain work like this multifunctionality, maybe many other things it can do, and you can achieve the betterment to the grid. You can go for compensation of harmonics. You can go for handling the nonlinear load, and many things can be done if the inverter is a multifunctional inverter. Now, this derating can also be obtained from the photovoltaic plant. As a result, we can say that the system becomes dispatchable in a limited sense. I can now control the real and reactive power into the grid like very much my conventional machines does it. So the conventional machine produces the real and reactive power, and that goes into the grid by means of the transmission system. Same thing here also. If we go for a photovoltaic system, I can inject the real and reactive power into the grid, and I can go for a command from the distribution grid, and I will be able to generate that amount of current when it is commanded to me. So to achieve this real and reactive power control, I usually go for two control loop. One is the DC voltage control loop, and another is the reactive power control loop. The DC voltage control loop controls the real power component IP, and the AC voltage control loop controls the reactive power component IQ. Now, once we decide this control scheme, then what will be its repercussion on the system? The biggest repercussion will be the voltage profile maintenance and the effective inertia maintenance of the system. So the voltage profile will not be in a reduction manner as we have seen in our conventional system. If we start from the transformer output, that is DT transformer output, then I will go on getting reduction in voltage, and finally at the end I will be having almost a low voltage type of scenario. But that may not be true in case of a photovoltaic injection system. Besides, the conventional rotating machines is having lot of inertia. Hence, whenever you switch on a load, immediately the power comes from the inertia of the machine, and the frequency is changed according to the inertia. So this voltage profile and inertia is a big issue. And also you will see that how it will impact to the loss of the transmission and distribution system. Similarly, to maintain the voltage profile, you have to go for the tape changing operation of the voltage, and if not possible to have the tape changing operation of the transformer, then some reactor or the inductor may be required to manage the voltage that is being given to the photovoltaic system. So now you can see here that the steady state issues, specifically the reverse power flow issue that I was mentioning to you, comes here like this. So the normal voltage, the load profile of a normal scenario is green, is the top one, that is the blue one, 0% penetration. But as you go on increasing the penetration, at 12 o'clock noon, the penetration becomes such that because the voltage has crossed its limit, then it will touch to the normalized zero power point. And you can see here that beyond that, if you go, it will create belly sort of thing. So a scenario will be created like this. Okay, so this scenario is called as duck curve, and the grid connected system will see a duck curve very soon in the perspective of distribution system. Any question you have?
Hello.
Yeah.
Sir, you have told something about PLL that during the grid failure, PLL will not be able to synchronize the PV to the grid. At that time, the our PV system will be disconnected from the grid.
Yeah.
So, sir, now the scenario is this that the percentage of PV integration is increasing, and in few years, 5 to 10 years, the percentage of PV will be more. So, all of a sudden, if all the PV will get disconnected from the grid, then the grid will collapse. So, what we can do that our system during the fault or during the failure also, it should be connected with the grid and provide the reactive power support required at that time. What should be done in that manner, sir?
Very nice. So if we everything do now, then what research will be doing?
You're
Right?
right, sir. Yes,
So
yes.
you are killing our bread and butter, right?
No, that is correct, sir. But
So
since I am doing research on the same topic,
that is why
my
research is required. That is why
yes,
I told you that the grid following mode of operation has been challenged by the Australian blackout, and it has
yeah,
gone to grid forming inverter now. So
yes,
now
yes.
when the grid forming inverter is there, PLL action should not be there. Now, if the PLL is not there and grid forming is there, how do you make a balance? Will be many PhD theses. It will not be one PhD thesis. It will be many PhD theses. That is why I am saying.
Okay.
Okay. And
Sir,
now, huh?
sir, I
Yes.
have a doubt.
Yeah.
So you're saying that there is a reverse power flow because of integrating PV to the grid.
Yeah.
What is the reason for this reverse power flow, sir?
Yes. Suppose you go to the situation. Yeah, here. Suppose this photovoltaic is producing 3 kilowatt and the load at 12 o'clock noon into your home is 1 kilowatt. So you will feed power to the grid because
Yes.
excess power is there.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now in your distribution system, it is geared up to do the power from the transformer to your house. It is not geared up to operate from the home to the transformer, right?
Yes, sir.
And that is what the reverse power flow problem. So now what we are in general doing, we are restricting our penetration in such a way that we do not go beyond the transformer. That is what we call in professional language, beyond the transformer. Because the protection system is generally present at 11 kV and above. At 400 volt level, there is no protection system in general. As a result, if you have a power flow and you consume in between, that means your house is suppose producing excess power, your neighbor house is consuming that power, then overall it will not go beyond the transformer. And that is why I am safe. Okay.
So,
But if
sir,
it goes beyond the transformer, then I am in trouble.
I have a question.
Huh.
So in that particular case, if we go for the large PV plants kind of things, megawatt kinds of PV plant, then we should go for 11 kV integration only.
No. See, it depends on how much money you have and how much power you can do. Suppose you are a very big entity like Adani, Reliance, Government of India, like that. Suppose you have good amount of money with you, then you can go for a big installation of renewable energy system, and there it will only act as a source. The reverse thing comes into picture where you have both load and source. If you are only source, then it is only one way, right?
Yes, sir.
So when you are looking for a big solar park, it is only one way.
Yes, sir. And one more question, sir. As we discussed that many people work on single stage system that directly PV is connected to inverter and feeding to the grid.
Yeah.
So in that particular case, is it feasible that the conventional inverter topology will work under partial shading condition of the PV array?
Okay. A good question. See, I will show you the single phase operation, single stage. Now here, this voltage need to be regulated to handle the partial shading of the photovoltaic array. Now, partial shading or it is non-partial shading, whatever you take, finally it is a DC voltage that is to be maintained. The MPPT algorithm actually defines the DC voltage, and based on the DC voltage instructed by the MPPT algorithm, the modulation index of the inverter is decided. So it is not the inverter which is responsible for partial shading operation, but it is the MPPT algorithm which is responsible for operating under partial shading algorithm. So if the MPPT algorithm is sufficient to do that, then my inverter do not have any issue.
So MPPT algorithm demands that in partial shading condition we have a wide range of voltage variation from one modular voltage to the full PV array voltage, because depending upon partial shading, that operating voltage for MPP tracking in partial shading will be varying over a wider range.
Correct.
So if we would like to get maximum power under that situation, then definitely voltage variation will be very wide.
Yes, DC voltage variation has to be wide, correct?
So is it means how then that inverter DC voltage control loop can manage that? Is it
Okay.
possible to go with or
Yes, a
some
very
other
nice
mode?
question.
Yeah.
See, suppose if your DC voltage is 600 volt and your AC voltage is 400 volt RMS, then tell me what will be your M value approximately, M peak.
Nearly
One.
1.9, nearly 0.85 to 0.9.
Let us take one.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what is the linearity of M? We can go up to even 0.2, 0.3, something like that, right? What will be the minimum value of M that we can get? We can go, rather, I will say. So that defines your range of operation of the DC voltage. So if my inverter can operate between maybe 700 volt to 1000 volt variation, then probably I can handle 300 volt variation in the DC voltage using my modulation index only, and hence I can more or less track all the MPPT algorithm. Yes, I will lose certain amount definitely, but I have to go for a economics whether I will go for the DC-DC converter or not. Am I clear now?
Yes, sir. Z source inverter will be feasible at a time.
Yeah. Those things you can take. That source inverter you can take definitely. There is no issue in that. But again, I will say one very, very important point. Suppose you are staying in a village and you have a choice to go for a car. You have a choice to go for a car. You will go for Maruti car or you will go for a Hyundai car.
Uh,
You got my point?
yes, sir. That's absolutely okay. But parcel setting we can not avoid. So we should have something which can boost. If we then otherwise two-stage system will be best suited. So it will somehow take care of that MPP tracking and DC bus voltage regulation.
Yes, that is exactly what I am saying. You
Yeah.
have to go for a economics of operation and also the scale of operation.
Yeah.
Okay. And
Okay.
will dictate your type and the nature of your inverter.
Yes. Sir.
Even today in the market, inverters are grid connected inverters are available, which are costing 17,000 vis-a-vis 40,000.
Yes. Sir.
So people are going for 17,000 still, right?
Yes, sir.
So why? Because it is cheaper. It is just like I will say, suppose if you are hungry, you will first take whatever is available to you, then you will look to chicken and biryani and those things, right?
Yes, sir.
So, first of all, we have to make people operate the thing. Just like if everybody started going in flight, then automatically people will be forced to go or like to go by flight, right?
Yes.
So that is the philosophy. So that 17,000 inverter, if you take, maybe the TSD will be 60%, but still people are taking it.
Yes, sir.
But I do not want to chop that at this stage, because if I started chopping at this stage, then people will not go for any grid integration at all.
Yes, sir. But then in that particular case, it is polluting our grid very much. So at some point, we have to restrict even that also, and we should highlight the benefits of other things, though it is costly.
Exactly. Now I will
Otherwise,
ask.
otherwise, no one will go beyond perturb observe algorithm for MPP tracking. That's the simplest one, and people do implement it with that only.
Who told? Many inverters are there where they do MPPT algorithm and partial setting up. Also, it can be. Who is mane, why are you saying that P&O cannot handle partial setting?
P&O
Is it
can handle, but there are limitations. With other better algorithm, we can be able to maximize PV. On one side, if we talk about that PV conversion efficiency, so it is better that if we can go for better algorithm which gives more yield.
again say the argument of P&O vis-a-vis non-P&O, what you are saying is basically a patent, an IP which you are talking about. The algorithm,
किसको दिखा 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 पास में दिखा नहीं दिख रहा है और लैपटॉप उठा ना दिखा अरे नहीं दिख
okay,
अबे दे
some noise is coming.
सॉल्यूशन है ये कौन सा क्वेश्चन है? 13वां है ना?
Can you please mute everybody?
अरे इसको निकालो, देखो 0 आ रहा है क्या? हम ऐसे ही बता दे रहे हैं ना।
अरे विवेक जी म्यूट करिए। मोहम्मद जी कैन यू प्लीज म्यूट? बढ़िया
एक
है।
कंबल धुला रहा है भोसड़ी की। वैसे मेरा ज्यादा अच्छा है। हाँ मेरा दिन भर नहीं रहता है। अब तो कभी धुला भी है, हम घर पे लेके धुले थे।
अरे वो क्या क्या बोल रहा है? Okay, so basically the issue of partial shading is already handled by many approaches, and it can be also efficiently used. However, remember that partial shading is an algorithm, and those partial shading algorithm is not going to increase the cost of the system because it is anyway embodied in the microcontroller, and the hardware cost does not matter much, but intellectual property right cost matter much, and hence there is a issue, and that intellectual property need to be properly handled. And because of that intellectual property, many companies are not going for initially the MPPT partial shading algorithm because they have to pay the IP charges and the technology transfer charges. So this reverse power flow, if you see here, till this point, it is 0. That means whatever was the consumption in the section, it is being now getting nullified. However, after that, it goes into the negative direction and reverse power flow occur. So as the reverse power flow occur, that means from your house, it goes towards the transformer. Maybe it can be consumed in between, but it will go from one side to the other side. Under that circumstance, the voltage may rise. So instead of following the blue curve, where the voltage goes on reducing as you go towards the last mile connectivity, the voltage will go up and the voltage will be higher at the fake end of the transmission, that is the distribution system. And because of that, the devices that is being connected to it will get damaged and it will be non-operative in the long run. So these two are big issues in the grid connected operation at distribution level. Apart from the low voltage right through LVRT operation and the inertial response operation at the high voltage level. So we have to handle this voltage rise phenomenon properly by using the tap changing transformer and the line voltage regulator along with absorbing the VAR by the inverter, sometimes by operating it in a lagging power factor mode. One interesting thing occurs in regard to the power loss in the system. So as the photovoltaic penetration increases in a system where the load profile is like this, the power in the line will go on decreasing, and when the photovoltaic becomes much more higher, the loss in the system will go to a drastically higher value, and this is detrimental to the cable, and the cable etc. may burn, as well as a loss in the revenue may occur. But in beyond the loss in the revenue, the cable will get heated up like anything, and that will make the operation drastically difficult when you go for higher penetration level of photovoltaic injection. Similarly, when you go to a higher voltage level, the inertia of the system plays a very vital role, and the rotating machine inertia will be reduced when you go for photovoltaic injection. And because of this reduction in inertia, there will be a dip in the frequency, and the nadir point will go lower and lower unless otherwise you do something with the photovoltaic control. And therefore, people are talking about virtual synchronous generator based operation for the photovoltaic inverters. Sometimes they refer it to virtual inertia as well, and many a times synthetic inertia, artificial inertia, and many name has been put into its aggregation. Because it is a inverter control phenomenon, and many researchers are there here, I can mention that because it is a control phenomenon, instead of only making it proportional to dF by dt, if you make it proportional to d square f by dt square, dfq by dt cube, many equations can be written, and those equations will give different performance to the stability of the system, and hence you can justify for a good publication if you can prove it as a theory and it is better than the conventional mode, then it can be accepted in the transaction level journal as well. So this virtual inertia can be included in the voltage control loop, and generally, since the inertia is a real power phenomenon, the real power from the photovoltaic system is integrated to this virtual inertia, and because this goes on changing, either this has to be, this overall photovoltaic system need to be supported by a battery operation, or if you are not doing, then there can be a derated mode of operation, what I was mentioning at the beginning. And we have calculated that a derated photovoltaic vis-a-vis a battery operated or battery integrated photovoltaic system, and in economics has been calculated, and it has been proved that a derated photovoltaic system will be cheaper than that of a battery based, battery integrated photovoltaic system. And that battery integrated system vis-a-vis when you go for a derated photovoltaic system, the comparison is that the solar radiation does not change in a intermittency way, but in reality it is not true, Therefore, in reality, to handle the intermittency, a small set of battery or a supercapacitor may be helpful to do the work. And the power quality issue, as I have already discussed during some of the questions answer point, is also a big problem. However, the inverter control can also be used to help the power quality improvement in the grid by making the solar photovoltaic inverter acting as an active filter. So if we control the reactive power of the solar photovoltaic inverter, then we can control the harmonics injected into the system by a big magnitude. And the ancillary services can definitely be produced by means of the proper control of the inverter and derated mode of operation of the photovoltaic system. Thank you for giving me a patient hearing, and any doubt maybe we can clarify for a while. Any question?
यहाँ से खुला हुआ नहीं है।
Any question? Good evening, sir.